Oh, you're a wild thing.
From your official station for Big Blue Nation, this is 2021 Kentucky Football for the Team, presented by UK Federal Credit Union.
I'm feeling that opening music, y'all.
That gets you jacked up right there.
All right, welcome to BB and Game Day. It's our UK football season preview show. We really couldn't be more excited. I'm Christy Thomas.
I mean, it's Rulo, and we have so much content for you today on this special episode.
And I'm Keith Farmer. Today's show is an hour long, and we have everything you need to know to get you ready for the football season. I'm talking exclusive interviews with Mark Stoops, Liam Cohen, and Brad White. Never before seen feature stories on key players, position breakdowns, the whole 9 yards.
Well, no time to waste. So let's dive into the biggest storylines surrounding Kentucky football this offseason, presented by Big O Tires. So for the first time since 2018, Terry Wilson won't be taking snaps at quarterback for Kentucky. The senior used his extra year of eligibility and transferred to New Mexico State. We certainly wish him well there. The offseason QB competition really was tight all summer between Joey Gatewood, Bo Allen, and Will Levis. But once fall camp got started, it became pretty clear that Penn State transfer was beginning to separate himself from the pack.
Coach Stoops and new offensive coordinator Liam Cohen had seen enough after that first Saturday scrimmage of camp and called a Sunday press conference to name Will Levis QB1. He also named Bo Allen the backup and announced that Joey Gatewood would be transferring from the program. Gatewood is reuniting with his former coach from Auburn, Gus Malzahn, and Kentucky's former QB coach Darren Hinshaw at Central Florida.
Now, guys, we all kind of thought this is how it would turn out. You know, Liam Cohen went and got Will specifically for this offense because he fit in there. I was a little surprised to see Bo at number 2. Maybe that's just me. And I don't know, guys, were we surprised about the Joey Gatewood transfer?
Definitely not surprised by the Joey Gatewood transfer whenever you end up the number 3 guy. I think Will Levis came in with an attitude that this was his job to lose.
Sure.
And I think he went out there and he proved it, and now he's showing his leadership. Look, Bo Allen, he's a play away. We've seen it happen before here at Kentucky, and so I like what I'm seeing out of him in being prepared to fill in that role if need be.
What I love about what I've seen and heard so far out of Will Levis is really just his maturity. So his age, I think, is really playing to his benefit at this point.
Yep.
And then you'll hear a little bit more a little bit later as the coach is talking off a lot about his personality. Not just anybody can come in here and be a quarterback in the SEC, and he's really a guy that's embracing it. So I think that this is the perfect scenario for fans, along with a new offense and a new offensive coordinator. I think this is the perfect mix of what exactly what BBN wants to see.
We're going to have more on the new QB1 later on in the show, but now let's talk some defense. Jamin Davis, the starting middle linebacker now for the Washington football team, so that's a pretty big hole to fill there in the middle of the defense. But Kentucky has done a lot to address it. They brought in Ole Miss leading tackler and Jaquez Jones, Luke Fulton from Michigan State, and 2 really talented freshmen. Can't wait to see these guys, Trevin Wallace and Martez Thrower.
Now, Jaquez Jones seems to be the plug and play guy next to DeAndre Square in the middle, but Jared Casey has looked more than capable in year 2. And with Jones a little banged up in camp, freshman Trevin Wallace has been getting some first-team reps. So, Christy, if Jones is back to 100%, we feel really good about this spot we thought could have originally been a weakness?
Well, I think this is a long talked about position for Kentucky. This is one of those positions that everyone has always put question marks on season in and season out. And then when you've got a guy like Jamin Davis that kind of developed and stepped into that role and really became a different player from the start of the season to the end of the season, I think that's what we're going to start to see some of these guys do, is really settle in. But I like what they're doing here in terms of bringing in the athletes and bringing in guys who are really very talented. Just got to bring it all together.
Look, even though he might not be the starter right now, would I feel worse if Jared Casey was the starter? No, because that's the great problem to have right now is depth on this team. So I feel like if Jaquez, we saw he was limping around a little bit, had some ice on the ankle in practice earlier. If he can't go, I feel good with Jared Casey.
I totally agree with you. This is what Mark Stoops has been recruiting for, is for it to be the next man up. It's that it's not one player away from total devastation on that side of the ball.
And he's going to be in the rotation too, so that's good.
On the outside, freshman all-SEC linebacker J.J. Weaver has been rehabbing that ACL he tore last season against Florida for the last 8 months. Hey, 8 months, pretty quick turnaround, but J.J. Weaver is such a special athlete, and because of that, Coach Stoops is going to make sure he's really ready before putting him back out there.
He's coming along. It's slowly. We're being careful with him. He's trying to do more and more, but you know, I hope to have him back, you know, at full speed sometime in the first quarter of the season. I think he'll play game one. We're being cautious. He has a great future, and a lot of times I'm cautious with those guys. I don't like forcing them back too fast. You know, let him heal up and make sure he's confident in his knee, and just bring him along. So we'll see how it goes.
JJ Weaver is a difference maker on the football field. We've seen that, but do you all expect him to make such a big impact those first couple of weeks?
I think it's interesting. I've been there and done it with that ACL, and I will promise you that 8 months is very, very quick to return from an ACL. A lot of times you can expect a full year, and even then you're still dealing with some things. So there was just so much talk about this guy before he got hurt and what he was able to do. He's such an athlete. I really, really hope that he can get back to what he was, because I think he deserves it.
Yeah, we saw the light bulb go on, right? And he was getting it at the end of the year before the injury. And I hope they don't. I mean, he's coming into his sophomore year.
Yeah.
What's the rush? You know, get him a few plays here and there, and then once we really feel like he's ready, then put him in full go.
Totally agree. Well, in case you haven't heard, Kentucky, well, they have a pretty good offensive line. Darian Kennard skipped this spring's NFL draft to come back to school, and Luke Fortner decided to use his extra year of eligibility and come back for his bicentennial season to anchor what could be the deepest Big Blue wall of the Stoops era.
Not only that, but Dare Rosenthal transferred into the program. He's going to play left tackle after starting 8 games last season at LSU. Kennard had made it clear he wanted to come back and play left tackle to help raise his status with NFL scouts. But once Dare got to campus, they made the decision to keep both star tackles at their more experienced positions.
I'm not too surprised by that. Why switch them up when they're so used to the positions they've been playing and in a rhythm there for years? When I did talk to Darian at SEC Media Days, he was still really set on playing left tackle, seemed really set on it. However, this should be too much of a disappointment. I don't think it's any kind of commentary on his ability, more just situational. And look, he's already on every first-team preseason list known to man.
Here's the thing. I think it shows maybe more to the NFL scouts. He's willing to help the team and stay in a position where he can better the team.
Team before me. Absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah.
Luke Fortner might be the one who's raising his draft status by switching positions. After starting in 23 consecutive games at right guard, Fortner has made the switch to center for his last season.
It's impossible to replace a guy like Drake Jackson in the middle, but Fortner's transition really has looked good. He did practice at center for emergency situations in previous years, so really it's not something that's totally foreign to him. But Keith, I don't know, how happy are you to have somebody that's your age that's still on the team?
I wish he was I was his age, and I hated if he was my age. Yeah, but no, I think it's great. I think he brings, you know, he and Darian are bringing such experience along that line, and so for Fortner, the only thing I really want to see is, can he get the snap off? Can he get it to Will Levis where he needs, especially when it is maybe not under center? But he told us they're working on it. They're working hard. All right, Fortner's move to center opens up a spot at guard, and here's where Kentucky's depth really starts to show. Kenneth Horsey and Austin Dotson were presumed to be the starters this spring. Enter Eli Cox. The sophomore Nicholasville native has made up a move up the depth chart and has been working a lot with the first team this fall. And there are plenty of other super talented guys in the mix as well, including Jeremy Flax, who took the snaps at right tackle with the first team this spring. Could move down and play some guard, plus sophomore John Young and freshman Jagger Burton.
Well, you think about these freshmen, too. This very exciting what Jagger Burton could possibly do. No secret that the passing game has to get better. That's why Kentucky has new coaches on the offensive side of the ball. And sure, that starts with QB, but the wide receivers have to be there. They have got to catch passes. The Cats use the transfer portal to beef up that position. Includes the move to bring in 2018 Kentucky Mr. Football, Wandale Robinson. Round of applause, everyone, please, for Wandale being back in the house. All right, the Wandale hype train has been full steam ahead this spring and fall.
Wandale is a guy you feel his juice, you feel that speed when you see him on the field, just the way he moves. Football is extremely important to him. He works very hard at it, but he has that speed and that acceleration that you're looking for, and most importantly, that desire. So I think he's definitely a guy that you're going to feel his presence on the field.
Number one, it's just been a blessing. You know, he's a pro's pro. He's not a big head kid. Very, very, very respectful off the field. teammates love him. You know, Wan'Dale joining us has really impacted us.
He's not just a gadget guy. He can really get the ball down the field. For a little guy, you know, a smaller guy, he plays big. He plays big. It's tough to put your hands on him. And the thing that I love about Wan'Dale the most is he loves to play the game and he loves to learn the game.
Wan'Dale catching the ball, that is Wan'Dale. Even the whole offense is just like, that is the talk right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's what we're after, a guy that plays big. I don't know who the last newcomer to be hyped up like this was, but everyone around the football team is in on Wan'Dale.
And it's even better that he's a Kentucky guy,
Yes.
so going back to high school, a lot of these guys have seen him in action and know what he can do. Now, Wan'Dale isn't the only one, though. Fellow receiver Josh Ali came back for his COVID year to show the world what he can accomplish in an offense, you know, that throws the ball. Ali was in a league of his own last season amongst Kentucky's wide receivers, catching more balls than all the other wideouts combined, to the point where it was really obvious when the Cats were going to throw him the ball. And Ali still managed to get open and haul in 54 catches and 473 yards.
All right, so there are your two guys at wide receiver. We have really high expectations for this season, but we're still waiting to see who is going to win the starting job on the backside. Isaiah Epps had some buzz this spring, and we saw him getting snaps with the first team at open practices. But DeMarcus Harris, Rashawn Lewis both had excellent camps this fall, and the latter had some highlight reel catches on fan day and at open practice. Now, Harris stayed very busy in those practices, but mostly with the second team. And the speedster, Tay Crooms, probably the fastest guy on the team, is one to look out for as well.
And then the tight ends. Keaton Upshaw might be the best receiving tight end Mark Stoops has had his near decade in Lexington, and Upshaw looked primed for a breakout year with Liam Cohen, bringing in a pro-style offense that is tight end friendly, but that was before he tore a pectoral muscle and required season-ending surgery. Hate that for him.
Really breaks your heart for that kid, and it left the position a little shallow, still in the capable hands of Justin Rigg and Brendan Bates, but the coaching staff felt like they needed to add a little receiving prowess to the room, so that's when Isaiah Cummings approached the staff about switching from wideout to tight end.
When I recruited him out of Mayo, you know, like I was telling my man, he was almost 230 then. And, you know, he wanted to play receiver, but you said, man, this guy would be a great mismatch at tight end. And kind of things what Stoops told him is you look at the tight ends in the NFL, you still got guys like Justin Riggs and Bates, but then you got them athletic ones who get paid a lot of money. And so I think he's seen the opportunity in this offense. And, you know, with me and Liam talking to him, he was still a little hesitant, but he said, hey, I want to do what's best for the team. So he texted me like, Coach, I want to do it. And, I mean, thank God he did it because he's looking pretty good.
All right, coming up next on this special edition of BBN Game Day, it's our roundtable chat with Mark Stoops.
We're headed to the football facility to catch up with Coach Stoops and his coordinators, Brad White and Liam Cohen. Stay with us.
2021 Kentucky football for the team. Presented by UK Federal Credit Union and sponsored by Alltech, Kentucky Select Chevy Dealers, Kroger, Lexington Opera House, Shelter Insurance, Toyota, and UK Healthcare.
Thank you for hooking Logan up here with this membership.
You know, fellas, you don't have to be associated with UK to become a member.
Want to become a UKFCU member? There are many ways to join. Seriously, find out how online. UKFCU. It's banking, only better.
Hey, Cash.
My man.
When you're named the #1 hospital in Kentucky for 5 straight years, it comes with enormous responsibility. A responsibility that we're honored to hold. It means that no healthcare challenge is too big or too small. It means that we will always show the best of us. It means that we are the hospital to meet the healthcare needs of the Commonwealth. The best in Kentucky, the best for Kentucky. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
You're watching 2021 Kentucky football for the team. Presented by UK Federal Credit Union.
Welcome into our special edition of BBN Game Day. It's our preseason football special, and of course, we are thrilled to be joined by the head coach, Mark Stoops, our defensive coordinator, Brad White, and new offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time. I know you've done this a time or two, talking a little bit about the season coming up, so we appreciate you joining us when you're kind of busy. A little something going on.
Absolutely. We're glad to be a part of it, enjoying your show, enjoying being a part of it, and looking forward to getting this season kicked off. You know, the talking season, we've had enough of that.
Plenty of it.
We're glad to do this one, and then we're ready to play some football.
Well, to that end, then let's talk a little bit about that, because hopefully it's going to look much different this year than what it did last year. You're going to have a lot of fans in the stands. A lot of atmosphere will be back in Kroger Field, and I know the guys have to be excited about that.
There's no doubt. I'm joking when I act like, when you get pulled a lot of different directions, but I'd much rather have it this way.
Yeah.
You know, it's really nice getting back out, getting in the community, having the kickoff luncheons, 50-yard line dinner, doing the show face-to-face. It's really good, and it's going to be great to see the fans back in the stadium. You know, when that gets taken away from you, you really realize how much you do miss it. And you do miss the interaction, so it's been fun.
Brad, do you sense that the guys are really excited about that and about that being different for them this year?
You know what? I would assume that's probably the case for them. I know they're really excited, but they're so laser focused right now on what they need to do. You know, coming out of camp and really focusing on their job now, starting to turn our focus, you know, to game planning week. But I think when they get in the tunnel, the smoke starts, they run out, like it's going to add that extra adrenaline. Their heart's going to go. So, and I know as coaches, we're excited for that.
Well, Liam, I know this will be your first time in Kroger Field on a game day, but hopefully you're excited and ready.
Yeah, I think that you asked the question to Brad about our players. It's probably a little bit more me being ready for, BBN and this fan base and the stadium. I mean, I think that it's just something I'm really looking forward to and excited for. And I think, as Brad mentioned, that our players are a little bit more locked into what we're trying to get done and our opponent and still learning and getting better. But I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I can tell you as a huge football fan, there's nothing like it. When you're down there on that field and that team runs out of the tunnel, I mean, I hope you all feel that energy that the fans are giving you, because down on the field, it's palpable. I love it.
No, there's no question. There's nothing like it. I mean, we do this for a lot of reasons, but game day, that is a special feeling. There's no question.
Yep.
You two really have worked pretty good together, it seems like, and what you need to see out on the practice field.
Yeah, I think that's a huge piece, you know, to be able to provide each side, you know, different looks, different opportunities to be successful. And you know, coaches preach throughout the program, it's not about ego, you know, and it's about what's best for the team and, you know, the model for the team, whatever look Liam needs, whatever look I need, we'll find the time and practice to make it work. And it's good when both sides are successful, and you don't, listen, if you get beat, you know, on a big play on defense, you should sting a little bit. You know, like you want to stop everything, even if you're in a bad spot, but it's good that it creates talking points and you find out where your weaknesses are and your stresses are. So, no, I think it's great for both sides of the ball.
I also think it's good that both guys come from an NFL background where you have to do a little bit more servicing each other. They don't have as many guys for scout team and things of that nature, so they're used to doing that, and that's been helpful as well.
Now, Liam and Brad, you actually have a shared connection in Rhode Island. I think this is just hilarious. Not a very big state, but you're both from there. Offensive and defensive coordinator here. What is that like to have that? You played at rival high schools, I believe, right?
Rival high schools, and you know, I think Liam never gets tired of me saying, you know, which high school has sort of the edge in state titles. But
oh, is that right? So we already
10 in a row.
Wait, what? That's more than an edge now. Come on.
I can't believe we don't all know that. The national interest.
This should be our lead.
Shocking. Shocking.
10 in a row.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's more than an edge, Coach. That's pretty well dominance right there.
It was.
Sorry.
But Liam, like he always says, so I never lost to his high school. He never lost to mine. So I'm a little bit older.
Yeah.
But since Liam left, then it's been pretty. It's been pretty straightforward which side of that rivalry is.
Is this the most you've recruited Rhode Island?
Yeah.
It's a hotbed, isn't it?
We got a
Not
quarterback
exactly.
from the Northeast. We got these guys. You
Yeah.
got to be the only coach in the country. That hotbed of Rhode Island.
Yeah. I've been once. I've been to Rhode Island once covering the UK women in the NCAA tournament there, and I couldn't get a cab, and I couldn't figure out why. And they said, well, it's because the cab's on the other side of the state, but they'll be back here in a minute. I was like, wait, are you serious? There's literally a handful of cabs running the whole state, so no big deal, but yeah.
Nobody around.
Work-life balance that we talk, a lot of that gets discussed. That's hard when you're a coach doing what you do.
It is, but when you find the right spot, you know it.
Yeah.
And that's something that Coach just does an unbelievable job of. And it's the reason that we love coming to work. It's the reason that so many coaches just want to stay here, because we're working for a guy that respects our time, our family's time. They're involved in this program. They feel attached, and that's not the case everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we're really lucky here. Appreciate you, Coach.
Yeah.
And that's really what this program's about. We preach family, we talk family, and we live family, and they're a part of that.
We are going to continue our conversation with our coaches when we come right back, right after this.
Tune in to the Don Franklin Countdown to Kickoff Show with Christy Thomas and former Wildcats Jeremy Jarman and Dusty Bonner. 2 hours before kickoff on UK Sports Network radio affiliates and the UK Athletics app.
Unlock a summer of possibilities in a new Chevy. Expand your options and your perspective. Find new summer adventures. Find new roads.
Enjoy the open road and make no monthly payments for 90 days on select popular Chevy SUVs. Plus, get interest-free financing for 72 months when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
When you're named the #1 hospital in Kentucky for 5 straight years, it comes with enormous responsibility. A responsibility that we're honored to hold. It means that no healthcare challenge is too big or too small. It means that we will always show the best of us. It means that we are the hospital to meet the healthcare needs of the Commonwealth. The best in Kentucky, the best for Kentucky. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
You're watching 2021 Kentucky football for the team. Presented by UK Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back to this BBN special as we preview the season for the UK football team, joined by Coach Stoops, Coach White, and Coach Cohen. And as we get ready for game one, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, you never know what's going to happen in game one, but I'm sure you've seen enough in the first few weeks of practice to know you've got to feel pretty comfortable going in.
I like our team. I've said it a lot, that what that translates to wins and losses, really we can't even be concerned with that right now.
Yeah.
We're concerned with the preparation. As we sit here now, we just broke meetings. We're going to go right back after this segment. We're going right back in, and we're really concentrating on getting better. And you hear that a lot from coaches, but it's so true. You cannot get ahead of yourself. We're trying to get better each and every day. Obviously, there's some continuity. Brad does a remarkable job with the defensive staff. We have some experience, new offensive system. Again, there's going to be ups and downs on both sides of the ball. That's football. That's why we're a team. We'll get through it together, but we're excited to get going. I like what I've seen.
You guys talked in the last segment a little bit about really giving each other what you need in practice. I'd be interested to know, Coach, from the offensive side of things, you've been seeing that day in and day out. Is there somebody that has surprised you or someone that's really stepped up that you said is going to be a player to watch on the offensive side of the ball that fans really need to know about?
Well, that's hard because each day somebody else sort of steps up. Somebody flashes here. Maybe it's in the passing game, maybe it's in the running game. Those guys up front, no one ever sort of recognizes them from a flash play, but all of a sudden you're saying, wow. I mean, very few people can hold Marquan like that. Whatever the case may be. So to identify one, I think, would be unfair to single out somebody. I just know on a daily basis, somebody's always stepped up in practice, and it has not been the same person day after day after day. Now, there's some guys that are obviously consistent that you see, but I think there's a lot of energy coming from that side of the ball.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of enthusiasm that, hey, listen, different people are going to be involved in this system, and it's not going to just rely sort of on one person.
Well, as a fan, that makes me very excited, I can tell you that. All right, so from the defensive side of the ball, then, what are you seeing?
You know, I think really at the end of the day, it's their consistency at all three levels.
Nice.
You know, they have so much leadership and very good football players at each level of the defense. Starting up front with Marquan and Pascal. Second level, you got Square as a leader, and then on the third level, Yusuf Corker is a guy in the back end that they have unbelievable players, but also leadership, and they're well coached at each level of the defense. And I think that really helps these guys from a communication standpoint, but also just trust, and having guys that you can trust out there at each level of the defense makes our job a lot harder to game plan and scheme, especially when you have good defensive scheme and really good players.
Let me tell you what I love about that, Coach. What they're saying is, I've worked for the UK Network for years, but I've also been a fan for years, been a season ticket holder for years. And once upon a time, I think when you first got here, they probably could have or would have identified a single player.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about you have to look at the unit as a whole, which I think just speaks volumes about what you've been able to do, or what your staff and collectively what you all have been able to do here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of hard work by a lot of people since day one. There's been a lot of different coaches, a lot of different players that have worked hard in putting the blocks in place to build. But it is nice. What's interesting is prior to this session right here, we're going through, one of the things I was doing earlier this morning was working out on the leadership council. And I was trying to narrow it down a little bit to get a little bit more intimate, but there's so many guys that are a part of that. That's a good thing.
Sure.
That's a good problem to have. So, maybe I'll keep it as large as it is.
I love
We'll see.
Absolutely. That was a big thing talking to players in the offseason.
Yeah.
Most of them, Josh Pascal, DeAndre Square, that was so important to them to mentor the younger guys. We heard it so often. When did that start? How did that become such a focus? That's not everywhere.
Yeah, that started day one with us. I was blessed with an idea. Really, I have to credit Mitch Barnhart and him connected me with Jason Cummings. I mean, he's a remarkable man. I mean, these guys can attest to it. I listen to so many speakers, go to so many leadership programs, and have listened to a lot of people, and he's got to be the best teacher I've ever listened to. And he mentors our team, he mentors us coaches, he helps me through a lot of things, and he taught leadership at West Point. They know a few things about leadership there.
Indeed.
And so we dive very heavily into that, and we do that all year round.
Liam, I'd be interested to know, obviously, named a starting quarterback, and that's been done for a little while now. How are you seeing him really fall into that role? It seems as though he has embraced that to the fullest in lots of different ways.
Yeah, I think just his leadership has really started to shine in terms of just the organization and control of the offense, being a little bit more vocal. When you're competing for a job, your sole focus really is to just execute what you're trying to get accomplished on each individual play. And it's difficult to really lead when you're not the guy. It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. So I think that's where we've seen maybe him take that next step, is we got to continue to get better as a player and completions and all those kind of little things about the position. But I think you've seen his leadership go to another level in terms of just breaking the guys down and doing some things communication-wise throughout the practice that has really been helpful.
Well, I think I can speak for a lot of us when I say we are really excited to see all this come together. I, for one, am excited to be back down on the field with you guys on September 4th. I am so excited about this. So can't thank you enough for joining us and for just chatting with us a little bit and catching us up. You're busy. We know that. So we really appreciate all of it. But can't wait for the season and really wish you the best of luck. And my predictions are 12-0, just in case you're wondering.
That's fine.
So I hope you're okay with that.
Well, I'm perfectly
Good,
fine with
okay,
that.
yeah.
But thanks for your coverage and appreciate you as always looking out for us
Yeah.
and having us on the show.
Guys,
Boys.
good luck. Thank you all so much for
much.
having us.
Thank you.
Plenty more show coming up right after this.
A special thank you to our cornerstone partners, Central Bank, the official bank of UK Athletics, and Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment.
Get $1,000 customer cash on any stylish new 21 Corolla. Get 2.49 financing plus $750 TFS finance cash on Camry or lease Camry for $229 a month. Toyota. Let's go places.
Family first. My dad used to tell us that all the time. But family first wasn't just something he'd say to us. It was how he lived every day of his life. And it's how I try to live mine, too.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
You're watching 2021 Kentucky football for the team. Presented by UK Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back to BBN Game Day's 2021 football special. And, you know, there's no light that shines brighter than it does on the quarterback position because it's so unique. You usually only have one starter, one guy who plays the entire way. And really, to be honest, Kentucky hasn't had a true quarterback battle since summer of 2018. That's when Terry Wilson won it. He only became the second winningest quarterback at Kentucky. He continued to win Governor's Cups, which was huge. He won at Florida in the Swamp and at Neyland Stadium against Tennessee. So, you know, now they finally found maybe the man.
Well, it seems that way. Kentucky is going to have to really try to win ball games with a totally revamped offense, a new offensive coordinator in Liam Cohen, and perhaps one of the hardest decisions he had to make back about coming here was who was going to be his quarterback. So Anna Tarullo takes a look at the decision on making Will Levis Kentucky's QB1.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on quick notice tonight. We're joined with head coach Mark Stoops. He'll give a quick opening statement, and then if you have a question, please use the raise hands feature.
6 p.m. on a Sunday, 3 weeks before the start of the regular season, Mark Stoops had big news for the Big Blue Nation.
I did meet with the 3 quarterbacks today and informed them of the decision that we were making as a staff and where we were going with the quarterback position. We just simply made the best decision for our football team to win games. I did inform them that we were naming Will the starting quarterback.
Penn State transfer Will Levis is Kentucky's starting quarterback. It only took him 2 weeks with the team before Mark Stoops and Liam Cohen knew he was the guy.
Obviously, he's a talented kid. He has some arm talent and some things that you know, are difficult to coach at times that he has. And you know, I just thought he did a great job of coming in and running the whole show. And I think that just like all the other guys, he had a lot to do to work on before this first game. But I think that naturally that will come with more reps.
Will's arm talent is undeniable. Cannon, rocket, laser, all words used as adjectives for when he throws the ball. But he's still improving. Coming from Penn State, the book on Will was he has a big arm, but struggles with the intermediate and touch passes.
The quick game, some of the intermediate, shorter depth things that we need to work on, some accuracy, but that's just him getting more reps and reps at this offense, and he's going to work his tail off to get it done.
That's something that I've really worked on these past couple of years to kind of hone and get better at, and I think that anyone, you could ask anyone here that's been around camp, all throughout camp, that I've been accurate and been able to put some touch on the balls and make those throws when needed.
Playing quarterback isn't just about the on-field ability, though. It comes with the responsibility of being a leader of your peers, and that's a challenge Levis seems poised to take on.
Learning how to connect with all the guys the best way possible. Everyone's going to be led effectively, differently, and it's just kind of, obviously since I'm new here, I've spent these last few months getting to know these guys, but it's going to take a lot of effort to really get their trust and show that I can lead them effectively in whatever situation we find ourselves in.
It's a new era of Kentucky football. A new offense, a new quarterback, and even some newfound fame.
Meet Will Levis, okay? He's the new quarterback for the University of Kentucky, and he's going viral.
You know, you'd think it was like, oh, because he can, like, throw a pass 200 yards or something crazy.
Running really fast. No. It's the way he eats a banana.
Well, two things really impressed me about this guy, Keith, and that's one is his maturity and the idea that he has the personality to really kind of handle a position that has this much weight on their shoulders here at UK.
Yeah, I've been impressed by the way he's handling it for sure. All right, coming up next on BBN Game Day's football preview special, we're going to take you to the guy they call bully on the field, but he's Marquan off the field, and he has transformed his body just since he's been here, but even in the offseason. You're going to hear more about that next. Maggie Davis has his story coming up on BBN Game Day.
Watch the UK Healthcare Mark Stoops Show, hosted by the voice of the Wildcats, Tom Leach, Mondays at 6 p.m. on UK Sports Network affiliates and on the Kentucky Football Facebook page. Call in or submit your questions on Facebook and Twitter.
When you're named the #1 hospital in Kentucky for 5 straight years, it comes with enormous responsibility. A responsibility that we're honored to hold. It means that no healthcare challenge is too big or too small. It means that we will always show the best of us. It means that we are the hospital to meet the healthcare needs of the Commonwealth. The best in Kentucky, the best for Kentucky. UK Healthcare, the power of advanced medicine.
Thank you for hooking Logan up here with this membership.
You know, fellas, you don't have to be associated with UK to become a member.
Want to become a UKFCU member? There are many ways to join. Seriously, find out how online. UKFCU, it's banking, only better.
Hey, Cash.
My man.
From your official station for Big Blue Nation, this is 2021 Kentucky Football for the Team, presented by UK Federal Credit Union.
In a 3-4 defense like what's run here at Kentucky, there isn't a position that's any more important than that nose guard position.
That's right, and they often don't get a ton of tackles or a ton of sacks. They rarely show up on the highlight reel, but without them, the 3-4 defense, it falls apart. Now, Brad White, he has been blessed with a lot of selfless players here, players like nose guards who are, willing to take on double teams, willing to take on a beating every snap, and it's that selflessness that makes a nose guard and makes him for the team.
And that player that you're talking about is Marquan McCall this year. He's going to step into that role, and to do that, he's really transformed his body and his mentality. He's slimmer than he's ever been, coming into the best shape that he's ever been in. He's quicker, and he's preparing to play more snaps than he's ever played before. Maggie Davis has his story.
Most football players come to college and, have to bulk up. Don't we all remember this picture of Josh Allen? But for Marquan McCall, the past year and a half has been dedicated toward going the other way.
To help him be more healthy, to help him be a better player, to help him have a better quality of life. And so it's coming from every angle in this building.
It's a blitz, if you will, including a strict and all-encompassing routine, better diet, increased cardio, extra work.
He gets it. Once you get a plan, from our dietitian, our nutrition team, look, stick with it. You'll find success by doing the things you need to do.
Spoiler alert, it worked.
He lost a whole human.
In the winter of 2019, Marquan McCall weighed 381 pounds. Last season, he competed at 357, but currently he's checking in at 342.
When you look back at the last year and a half, realize you've lost 40 pounds.
Man.
Does that blow your mind?
Definitely blows my mind, because like you said, it's 40 pounds, and I was just 380, so
from that to this is just a blessing, man.
Okay, you said Marquan lost a whole human. That's
Yeah.
what you lost, a whole human.
You have to change a young man's habits that he's developed over 18 years of his life when you get him. And then you bring him in and he has extra means and extra funds and extra time. He probably had never worked with a nutritionist or a dietitian and being told what to eat and what not to eat and how much to eat. He was always a willing participant, you know, but people have their vices, and his vice was eating. His vice was food, and he liked it, and he liked a lot of it.
When you think about this last year or so, what was the toughest part?
It was definitely the food. Like eating at night, I had to stop eating after 7 o'clock. And you know, 8, 9 o'clock is my hungry time.
So let's mix in some fruits and vegetables. Let's cut out the fast food. He likes Chinese food. He likes, you know, McDonald's. Marquan's a guy who likes fruit juices. He loves apple juice. But those sugary juices mean extra calories for him. You know, when you're trying to lose weight, those extra calories can be dangerous.
The apple juice thing, they actually took it out because I was drinking it a lot. So they took it out from the drinking fountain or whatever, but
It used to be in there and they took it all out?
They took it out because every time I go in there, Coach Ed or Coach Hill will see me and they'll take it away.
Your teammates mad at that or not really? They get over
Not
it?
really, because they know it was for me. So they were like, it was good for me.
Above and beyond, the same rule of thumb applied to how Marquan exercised too. In between weightlifting sets, while his teammates were resting, he got on a bike.
Yeah, it was definitely challenging seeing all my teammates, you know, run a hill and do everything, and then I'll be right here in the sun, you know, doing a bike for 30 minutes. But you know, I just told myself I'll be out there with them, you know, in a minute, and just keep going and keep pushing so you can be out there with them instead of, you know, being tired or coming out for right after the first play. So I just kept myself going and saying that, you know, I'm gonna be a beast this year.
While his teammates and his coaches have already started seeing the beast in practice.
There's not a time you go against Marquan and don't get better, really. He truly is, moves faster than any human that size should, and he has been changing the way he works. It used to be us telling Marquan to pick it up, and now it's Marquan telling us to pick it up.
You have to be able to tell someone they need to step up and then celebrate them as well when they do. And I feel like Marquan has that great balance. He's a big guy that shouldn't be able to move that fast.
Competitors are going to see a lot of bullying, and they're going to see a lot of bullying at a high level because his stamina is at an all-time high, not just with his weight down. He's gotten in a lot better shape, and he wants to be on the field. He's always been a high-energy guy, but stamina has always been an issue. I think people are going to see a high level of play from him in a lot of games for a lot of reps.
He's he's come with his own. You know, he has his great personality, his big personality. He lets it show. You know what? But he's matured so much on and off the field. You know, I'm very proud of him because he's going to graduate.
His body is in as good a shape as he's been since I've been here and he's been here. We sort of came in together. So he's ready to take that step.
And in this sort of 3-4 defense that Brad White likes to play so much of that falls on you as the nose guard. Does that put a little bit of extra pressure on this whole sort of journey for you?
It's always going to be a little pressure, but like I said, I've been wanting this my whole life. I've been working towards this my whole life, so I just feel like now is the time. You know, I'm just ready.
It also helped that he had a blueprint. Not just the meal plan given to him by the dietitians or even the workouts waiting for him before and after practice, but a living, breathing blueprint. Kentucky nose guard turned Dallas Cowboy, Quentin Bohanna.
And I actually wanted to be just like you, you know, because everything he did was just so, you know, perfect. I gotta say, it was just perfect. So I try to piggyback off everything he did and just be great like him. Now look at him, making plays in the NFL.
The benefit of having Q, he did the same thing. He finally bought in and did the things he needed to do to get his weight down, and he had a great year, and it ended up getting him drafted, you know. So for Marquan to see that, I think it was kind of a catalyst in his weight loss.
You said he's perfect. What was it about him when he was here that was so perfect in your eyes?
Because you'll never see him, you know, having a bad practice because he either encouraging somebody or he gets somebody right with their hand placement. Like I said, he'll just perfect on and off the field.
Hey, eyes up, bang!
I have a video to show you.
Oh.
The biggest change from a freshman to where he is now as a senior as anybody on the defensive roster from a maturity standpoint.
Respect, Coach White. Respect, baby.
Yeah, when you hear that, what does that do for you?
It just really, you know, brings light in my eyes because, like you said, I came a long way as far as maturity. You know, it's been a bumpy ride or whatever, but you know, things happen, and I'm just blessed to be here. And like I said, I'm just ready to play with my teammates and just go for the long ride.
And still have a little bit of fun along the way, right?
Definitely.
Well, certainly big things ahead for Marquan McCall, and a lot on his shoulders this year for this defense, no doubt about that. Well, we've got plenty more show coming up, including a really fitting tribute that the UK football program is paying to John Schlarman.
More of our football preview special right after this.
At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best of the best will do. But just because you can't get any higher than perfect 10 produce, that doesn't mean that we won't try. Because Kroger produce isn't just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Welcome to Toyota's National Sales Event.
Ooh, RAV4.
It's a great time to save on the 2021s while they last.
Ooh, Venza.
Toyota's got an exciting lineup to choose from.
Oh, Highlander, could you?
Oh, sure. You have to understand, it's the National Sales Event.
Get 2.49 financing plus $750 TFS finance cash on any new 21 Highlander, Highlander Hybrid, or gas-powered RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 for $209 a month.
Hey, that's my line.
Toyota, let's go places.
For the first time since Mark Stoops took over the head coaching job here at the University of Kentucky, he'll be embarking on a football season without his friend, John Schlarman. Schlarman was the architect of the offensive line that affectionately became known as the Big Blue Wall. The offensive line, which is often an afterthought, really has become front and center here at Kentucky. John Schlarman passed away last year after battling cancer. Keith Farmer now has more on his legacy and how the university is honoring John Schlarman, the great American.
As the sun rises over the UK campus, the Josh Allen banner is washed over in light, one final time. The poster kid for Recruit and Develop watched over the Wildcats for the last 3 years as they entered the UK training facility and headed into Kroger Field to do battle. But this is the final day for Kentucky Sacks leader to be perched high above Kroger Field. And not even he would mind the reasoning for coming down.
We're going to win this thing. We're going to close it out and win it.
John Schlarman lived, breathed, fought, and bled blue for the Kentucky football program. First as a starting offensive lineman from 1994 to 97, and then coaching the Wildcats on 2 separate occasions. The second time hired by Mark Stoops, who became the head coach in 2013. Schlarman tasked with leading the offensive line. Kentucky broke numerous school records along the way, including single-season records for most rushing yards, most rushing touchdowns, and most rushing yards per attempt. In 2016 and 19, Schlarman's Cats were semifinalists for the Joe Moore Award, given to the nation's top offensive line. At the start of the 2018 season, Schlarman was diagnosed with a rare cancer of the bile duct, which eventually gets into the liver. And just as he fought on the field and as a coach, he was all in on this battle. At the same time, he rarely missed practices or games after getting treatments, still leading his offensive line and teaching them great life lessons. On October 17th of 2020, Schlarman was last on the sidelines for UK as the Wildcats got their first win against Tennessee in Knoxville since 1984. He would pass away on November 12th. The Wildcats knew they wanted to honor the man they called the Great American. The first step was by making sure he was in sight of the team and fans on a daily basis. So Josh Allen gave way to John Schlarman on that same wall at Kroger Field. It has the Big Blue Wall, the name his offensive lines came to be known by, his playing number, 65. Schlarman strong, and that quote that he also became known for within the team.
You come together, nobody can stop you.
And just hours after it was put up, his family was there to see it for the first time. Along with the coaching staff, waiting to see their reaction and give them support.
We didn't know what we were coming here for. We just knew that there was something special going on, and they wanted to keep it special for us, so it's been pretty quiet. I was a little overwhelmed. I didn't know that everybody was going to be down there to see us, but it was great too. It's good to be back here. We've missed seeing everybody.
It's amazing. It's really nice. It really shows the impact that he had on everybody.
Before we walked to where you could visually see it from the second floor there, we talked about it a minute, but I had not seen it. And you know, obviously it kind of hits you. It's emotional when you see John up there on the wall. We miss him.
The banner will be a constant reminder to the players and fans of the impact that Schlarman had on the program.
We talked about he was the great American, but he's really sort of the great Kentuckian, and everybody gets to see it when they come to Kroger Field now, and that's really, really moving for us. Like it was an emotional tribute today.
For all of us, it's inspirational, and it does put a smile on our face. It's been a difficult time, and this is one way to recognize John and hopefully Leanne and the family like it.
It's great to see John up there. I know he would be proud and embarrassed to see himself up there, but it'll be fun to come to games and be able to see him up there. He'll be seen by lots of people.
Thank you for hooking Logan up here with this membership.
You know, fellas, you don't have to be associated with UK to become a member.
Want to become a UKFCU member? There are many ways to join. Seriously, find out how online. UKFCU, it's banking, only better.
Hey, Cash.
My man.
Unlock a summer of possibilities in a new Chevy. Expand your options and your perspective. Find new summer adventures. Find new roads.
Enjoy the open road and make no monthly payments for 90 days on select popular Chevy SUVs. Plus, get interest-free financing for 72 months when you finance with GM Financial. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
You're watching 2021 Kentucky football for the team. Presented by UK Federal Credit Union.
Welcome back to the BB&Game Game Day football season preview show. Guys, it's time to go on the record. We're making picks for the season.
My picks, 12-0. Just kidding. Just kidding. I wanted to go 12-0. I'll be honest with you and tell you, I really kind of thought about it. But here, I'm going a little more conservative at 10-2. You know, I think we hit a little bit of a stretch here that's a little interesting. Possibly some losses to Florida and Georgia. But I don't know, that's an interesting stretch when you look at Florida through that Tennessee game, kind of an interesting stretch for the Cats.
All right, so do you call me a realist? Do you call me crazy? Do you get upset with me? I don't know. I went 9-3.
Oh,
I know. Here's my thought process. You know, Georgia's going to be a tough one. Florida's going to be a tough one. So maybe those two. Then I just threw in one and I picked Mississippi State, but it could be any of those others. I don't know. I feel like there's one always that kind of gets away from us.
Yeah.
So that's why I went 9-3.
Now, Chrissy, I'm with you 10-2, but Keith, I kind of have your philosophy. I only did losses to Georgia and Florida because you don't know where the wins are going to come, so I wanted to pick as many as I could, so I'm right on those.
All of them. I'm picking all of the wins.
All right, thank you for joining us on this special episode of BB&Game Game Day for our season preview special presented by UK Federal Credit Union.
We'll see you again next week back at our normal time, 9 a.m. before that noon kickoff, so it's perfect.
2021 Kentucky football for the team. Presented by UK Federal Credit Union and sponsored by Alltech, Kentucky Select Chevy Dealers, Kroger, Lexington Opera House, Shelter Insurance, Toyota, and UK Healthcare.